Good morning, dear students. We are going to discuss the 12th cranial nerve, that is hypoglossal nerve. So, generally we will see, like any other nerve, we will see where is the nucleus of hypoglossal nerve situated. We will see the course of the nerve. Okay, we will see the central connection from where it is coming out and what are the target areas where it is supplying. We will see its various fibers and we have already studied few things with tongue, anatomy of tongue. So let us review of your knowledge also to its target areas. Make a list of types of nerve modalities conveyed by this nerve. Now see here, this is the cranial cavity, right? We are finding anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, and the posterior cranial fossa. So in the posterior cranial fossa, we are finding there is a canal called as hypoglossal canal. Through that hypoglossal canal, you will see the hypoglossal nerve comes out. Basically, it is attached to the medulla oblongata. So this is brainstem, midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So you will see various rootlets are there which are attached to the medulla oblongata. So from there, it all joins to form the single nerve root. Okay. So which is entering into the hypoglossal canal to come out, right? So once it comes out through the hypoglossal canal, it goes and innervates the muscles of the tongue, right? Both extrinsic and intrinsic muscles. Except which muscle? The exception is palatoglossus, which is supplied by which accessory nerve. Now, when you see the nuclei of this hypoglossal, that is the 12th cranial nerve, it is a motor nerve where we have general somatic efferent nuclei. The hypoglossal nucleus is situated in the medulla oblongata in the floor of fourth ventricle. It comes out through the skull bone through the hypoglossal canal, which I have just shown you. This is the hypoglossal canal. Okay, and this is the hypoglossal nerve nucleus, which you can see. This is fourth ventricle. In fact, when we do neuroanatomy, you will understand better. So the upper half is pons and lower half is medulla oblongata. So in the floor of the fourth ventricle, that is the part of medulla oblongata, we are able to see the hypoglossal nucleus. So from the hypoglossal nucleus, you can see the hypoglossal nerve is coming out. Okay. Now, this is the hypoglossal nerve. You can see this one, the motor nerve, and this is the hypoglossal nucleus, which is situated in the medulla oblongata. This whole nucleus is the hypoglossal nucleus. Okay, so that is the efferent. Okay, then this is the hypoglossal nucleus, and this is the cut section of medulla oblongata. You can see the nucleus is giving rise to the nerve. This is general somatic efferent nerve which is supplying muscles of tongue. Okay. In this picture of the medulla oblongata cross section also we are able to see the hypoglossal nucleus. So this is brainstem where we are finding midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. Okay. So these elevations in the midline, they are called as pyramids, and these elevations are olives. At the junction of pyramids and olives, you are finding the rootlets of hypoglossal nerve are emerging outside to enter into the hypoglossal canal. So this is the hypoglossal canal in the posterior cranial fossa. So we can see how this nerve is entering from the brainstem, that is the medulla oblongata, to enter into the hypoglossal canal. Okay. So this is the hypoglossal canal into which you are finding the hypoglossal nerve has entered. The hypoglossal nerve nucleus receives corticonuclear fibers from both cerebral hemispheres, except the region that supplies the genioglossus muscle. It receives contralateral supply only. So this hypoglossal nucleus receives afferent fibers from nucleus tractus solitarius and trigeminal sensory nucleus. Now the site of emergence, the fibers emerge from the anterior surface of the medulla oblongata between pyramid and olive. Once it comes out through the hypoglossal canal, it descends in the carotid sheath between the internal jugular vein and the internal carotid artery. Okay, so this is the hypoglossal nerve. Okay, you can see this is the internal jugular vein and this is the internal carotid artery between which you are finding this nerve is moving, hypoglossal nerve. So it lifts the sheath and passes forwards and medially crossing internal carotid artery and also the external carotid artery. You can see how it is crossing. It enters the digastric triangle, this nerve. Then it finally passes deep to the mylohyoid muscle to reach the tongue, where it breaks into terminal branches to supply the muscles of the tongue. During its initial course, it carries fibers from C1, which leave in a branch to take part in the formation of ansa cervicalis, a loop of nerves supplying the muscles of the neck, strap muscles of the neck. We have already discussed ansa cervicalis. You can see the course of this hypoglossal nerve. This is the hypoglossal canal. It has come out. It has entered into the this area, which is very close to the mylohyoid muscle. Okay, and then it is actually entering into the carotid sheath. Inside the carotid sheath, it is crossing the internal jugular vein, external internal carotid artery, isn't it? Then it crosses the mylohyoid to enter into the base of the tongue, where it is splitting into branches to supply the muscles of tongue, isn't it? So this is hypoglossal nerve nucleus and this is the hypoglossal nerve. You can see how it is joining the C1, where it is actually forms ansa. Ansa is necklace. Ansa cervicalis we have discussed when we were doing deep cervical fascia of the neck, isn't it? Now coming to the motor distribution of hypoglossal nerve, it supplies all muscles of the tongue except palatoglossus, which is supplied by the vagus. That is actually the accessory part of the cranial nerve, which is 11th cranial nerve. It forms pharyngeal plexus, right? Vagus and the accessory nerve, both of them form the pharyngeal plexus, which will be supplying the palatoglossus. The hypoglossal nerve also supplies the meninges. It also supplies the thyrohyoid muscle. It carries proprioceptive afferent fibers from the tongue muscles. The function is controls the movements and shape of the tongue during speech and swallowing. So this is the hypoglossal nerve. You can see it is joined by C1. This is like the descendants hypoglossy, which has come down. Okay, and this is descendants cervicalis coming from C2, C3. Both of them will join to form a loop called as ansa cervicalis. Ansa cervicalis can be either 3 marks or 5 marks question. So it supplies the infrahyoid group of muscles. What are those? Superior belly of omohyoid, sternohyoid, sternothyroid muscles. Okay, and inferior belly of omohyoid. So you can see how this hypoglossal nerve is coming out, crossing the carotid sheath and supplying the muscles of the tongue. So suppose if this nerve is damaged, lesion of the nerve results into loss of the movements of the tongue, difficulty in chewing and speech. The tongue paralyzes and you will see atrophying of the tongue. The tongue is shrunken, furrowed on the affected side. This is lobar motor neuron paralysis. On protrusion, the tongue is deviating to the affected side. If both nerves are damaged, person cannot protrude the tongue. Thank you.